guys, it's Heidi with Minimalist Homeschool, and this is Alexis with In His Season blog. And I have, against her will, roped her into sitting here and doing stuff with me on camera for the blog.
That's about right.
Is that not essentially what we're doing here?
That's pretty much what happened.
So if you've been listening to our podcast, Growing Up Churchy, she has been interviewing Brandon and I and talking about all sorts of ridiculously raw personal information that we've never discussed with anyone and now apparently are discussing in a very public forum. So we've been doing that, and we thought while we're at it, why not sit down and do this little series here on our YouTube channel, Mary More Than Martha, where we discuss various topics that basically pertain to women, moms, wives, things of that nature, and how we look at these seemingly normal worldly things, but as Christians with a biblical scope. Because we end up essentially having these conversations when we hang out anyways, and so my mind being, let's clearly record these and put them out there publicly because that's what she wants to do with her life. And Sophie is so excited about this that she came to join us as well because she thinks it's a fantastic idea. Huh, Sophie? Yeah, she's pretty excited. So first one here, we just want to take a couple minutes, I guess, and explain what it is that we're doing and who we are and why we think we should do this.
Yeah, so I guess like the last couple of years, we've kind of joked around like we should just record our conversations because clearly we're so...
Your naked
we
child.
have so much time. We're going to have to...
pause.
Why aren't you guys in
Other cool point here being is that we are not super awesome people that have like a separate recording studio. We are literally sitting in my house and we've got like, how many kids?
Seven.
Wait.
Seven.
We don't know how many kids. There are a lot of kids running around the house everywhere. So heads up. It's okay. So we'll probably be interrupted at least 1,000 times.
So anyway, we just clearly thought that, the things that we talk about are things that I think a lot of women, particularly Christian women, stay-at-home moms, working-at-home moms, anybody who is homeschooling and has that kind of tight-knit group of people, just things that they want to discuss or have things to talk about. And we are super interested and excited to see what you guys have to say about any of this. I mean, are we just weird?
Possibly.
That's probably it.
Well, I think a lot of the conversation, like Brandon and I have found with the podcast too, but a lot of the conversations are, I think, conversations people are having or are wanting to have, but
no one's actually
not what we're seeing.
Yeah, no one's actually putting it out there, and there's such a taboo in Christian culture about, especially for women. I don't know why. It's always women, but for us to talk about, hey, this is kind of hard. I don't have it all figured out. This kind of sucks. What are you doing about it? What have you done that's worked, that's been successful? What's going on in your marriage? Mine's like this. This is great. This is not so great. And, just kind of all the things that you...
Well, and I feel like women issues in general from a worldly scope are so out of whack with anything Scripture is telling us to do that it's kind of a weird line to figure out how that works and what to do. But you know what I mean? Like the world is telling us as women we need to be this way, we need to be that way, and obviously that like Proverbs 31 wife, that everybody goes to, it's like so different from that. And so there's like this huge disconnect of like, where am I? Where do I fall? How does this work? What does that look like in reality? What's the truth of that? And yeah. This is so great.
People are going to watch this, right? Oh, okay. Well, as long as we have her consent on camera.
I'm telling you, when I go like to do the lives every Saturday at noon, we sit down, the kids will be off playing, doing their own thing. Everybody's content. As soon as I sit down and put this camera up, they're like, what are you doing? And they start like acting a fool and doing all kinds of crazy stuff. It's a magnet.
So back to the topic at hand. I think there's a lot. It's both sides of the spectrum. You've got how the world thinks that women should be, but then we have this like almost dangerous, I feel, subculture, I guess you would call it, of these Christian type groups that have these whole other ideas of either what it is to be a Christian woman or what it should be. And that's not quite right either. And so we've kind of found ourselves just talking about
somewhere in the middle that really fits in with nothing.
Yeah.
So I would assume that most people watching this know who I am, would be my guess, most likely. I'm Heidi with Minimalist Homeschool. We share like homeschool plans. We do a lot of blogs. My husband and I have a podcast and a ministry. We do things like that. But you should probably tell us a little bit about you because they don't know that.
Yes. So I am Lexi, and I have a blog called In His Season Blog, and it kind of was born out of a lot of these conversations that we've had, where a lot of it was just about how to focus on how no matter what season that we are in spiritually or literally, it's always a season to be a child of God. And how do you do that? Sometimes we go through really, really rough things. Some people have things that they deal with all the time, whether it's depression, anxiety, whatever it is. And how do we identify what a season is? What its purpose may be in our life, what God may be doing with it, while also finding that balance of not necessarily being content in a bad season, being content with what the Lord has, sure, but sometimes I feel like people go, well, this is just where I'm at, and they just stay there, and there's no effort to improve. So it's really about, am I trying to change my circumstance because I'm just not willing to learn whatever lesson it is that is there for me? Or, is it something else? Is it something that we need to...
Well, and I think something that we've really tried in everything that we do, that we share here on our YouTube channel, that we share even on social media and in the podcast, Brandon and I try to go at everything with a very, not just saying we're being real and transparent, but honestly being completely raw and transparent and stuff. And your blog is the same way. You're talking about, where you find yourself failing, where you find yourself struggling. You know what I mean? So it's very much the rawness
It
of
is inevitably going to be just public documentation of all of my failures. Because hopefully people can read it and realize that they're not alone when they're going through these things.
And in our weakness is where we see so clearly Christ's strength and what he is doing and working for us, because it's all him. And that's what's so exciting, I think, to see. I've really been enjoying, I know we've talked about you doing something like a blog or something for a while, and then I've, I guess, bothered you enough that you started doing it because you text me after you got it going. You're like, this is all your fault.
Yeah, it was entirely her fault. It mostly was because for probably over a year, close to 2 years, we've actually talked about doing this series that we're finally sitting down and doing, and she's like, well, but you got to start the blog so that we
link down in the description, you can get to all of these things, which will be updated quite regularly because clearly she has nothing else to be doing with her life. So
no, not at all. I just stay at home all day with my 3 kids and a homeschool, and quite frequently drive an hour and a half one way to be here
because we live in the middle of nowhere, far away from everyone, so it's like a whole production to get her out here. You military wife background?
Yes.
Which is a different dynamic you'll bring in.
I was first a military kid, and then I was a military wife.
Married young,
got married at 20, met him at 17. It's been way beyond that at this point. It's been over a decade we've been together, and we've kind of gone through kind of a lot of stuff. I feel like in the last decade, just multiple deployments. My husband deployed 7 times in 8 years. Yeah. We've moved cross country to the middle of the country. Just a lot of what does God have for us. And we're kind of like you guys. We kind of put our move completely on faith and just went, let's try here.
This sounds like a
it's
good
also
spot.
Heidi's fault that I live here
Mhm.
because we went to school together in Southern California when we were like 12.
Yeah, it was a long time ago. Like when we were talking about it on the podcast, and Brady goes, "That's back when there were payphones." So our relationship is payphones age old. Yeah. It's been a long time. But I think that's what's so cool to see, kind of just a dynamic. I think we're very similar in many ways, but we're also very different in a lot of ways, too.
Yeah.
Like we joke, you and my husband, Brandon, have a lot of similarities,
Mhm.
and me and your husband, Travis, have a lot of similarities in just like personality traits and stuff. So I think that kind of creates a funny dynamic sometimes.
Yeah, because I think you tend to side with my husband in certain outlooks,
And you totally side with mine.
And
yeah.
I totally side with yours. So it's fun.
But I think there will be a lot of, we have a list about 1,000,000 miles long that we read to Brandon last week. And he was like, wow, those are some really good topics. So I think we've got some great ones. Of course, we're always happy to hear about the topics that you guys would like to listen to. But we're just going to sit down again in my very real house with a very real amount of children running amok and kind of go through some of these topics and share our thoughts and our hearts on the various different things and kind of see where that comes, if anything, to open up a dialogue with you guys and with others, to connect in that sense.
And let us know, because we really, really want to know. We want to know what you want to talk about. We want to know if you agree with us. We want to know if you disagree. I think both of us are pretty open to people saying, hey, I disagree with you and here's why. You're not likely to change my mind if it's not a biblically based reason. But
we are in no means perfect know-it-alls that are trying to do this. The point is we feel like we're the complete opposite of that. And I think a lot of us all kind of feel that struggle. And so a lot of the things that are out there, it's hard because you get this sense of feeling, hey, you found the scissors that we've been looking for. That's fantastic.
Very real house, guys.
Very real house. We've been looking for days for those. Kind of scared to know where she found them. But I feel like a lot of the things that are out there, especially for Christian women, they're so perfect and so polished and put together and everything that you just can't help but feel less than in many ways. And our world is definitely telling us, in the story of Mary and Martha with Jesus, they're telling us to be Martha, right? To be worried about the house getting done and this being fixed and this being together, whatever, and criticizing Mary, who's just sitting there by Christ and learning and listening and taking that in. And so we're kind of sitting over here, I guess, on like the weirdo side going, no, I want to be Mary. I don't want to be Martha.
It's exhausting to be Martha.
Yeah.
It's really exhausting.
And nothing good comes from it because
No.
I've been trying to do it and it's not good.
Yeah, I've attempted, but then I kind of just...
Like I tried once and that was enough.
I kind of just gave up.
I said, you know what? Maybe that Mary chick knew what was up.
I'll just let Heidi be Martha. No, I'm kidding. But I think too, I'm just as excited to see what I can learn from other people.
Because there's a lot of conversation to be had that I don't know the answers to either. So I'd like to open up the discussion here and hear stuff because I'm sure there's a million people out there possibly watching this who are way smarter than I am. And so please help. Please share. Let me know. Yeah, that's what we're doing?
Yeah, that's what we're doing.
Okay, so that's what we're doing. We are going to work on these videos. I am not sure with 100% certainty what our regular posting schedule of these videos will be. I'm not too sure. But
because
we're working on that.
You also have me now hosting your podcast and
yeah. There's like 8 billion projects we're working on right now. So the best way, probably just subscribe and tap the little bell icon because we're trying to figure all of that out. We're praying over all of this because the whole point is for this to be a service to you, to whoever God might put in front of all of this, that we're not just rambling about nothing to make ourselves feel better, but that everything that we're doing, be it the podcast, the videos, our homeschool plans, the whole point is for everything to serve someone else. Mm-hmm. So we're figuring it all out, but it's very new. So I don't have any direct answers. So make sure to subscribe, tap the bell. You'll see that stuff when it comes up. We are going to be working on these, getting them out. like I said, podcasts every week, new videos every week. You can catch us on Instagram. I'll post that stuff down there. And then my husband and I host a YouTube Live every Saturday at noon to discuss these different topics and do different Q&As and stuff like that. And who knows, one Saturday we might even rope other people into it. So stay tuned. You'll see.